Welcome to Wisdom Tips, everyone. So excited that you are here tonight. For those of you that know me, I'm Dr. Connie Green, giving wisdom tonight. And this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful session because it's something that we all go through. And I can't wait to get into it because it's greatly needed. So as I was talking to the Lord on this week, this is what he talked to me about, how I need to share with the people that we're talking to on tonight so they can get some help and some wonderful wisdom tips. So again, my name is Dr. Connie Green. I'm welcome all of you here today. I'm here to drop pearls of true wisdom, giving you the tools that you need to live a victorious life. The episode on today is episode 104. And the title of this broadcast tonight is Wisdom to Heal, Wisdom to be healed, or wisdom to get healed from the dangers of stress. Have you ever been stressed before? Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you have, because we all have. But tonight I'm going to slow down a little bit and just talk about this stress that we're all dealing with, especially in this crazy world that we're living in on today. And I want you to be able to just listen in, take some notes if you want to. And in the end, we're going to have some wonderful wisdom tips that's going to really, really help you. And we're going to open up the chat on tonight. So if you want to talk to me or if you want to put something in the chat, we're going to talk back and forth, and you can ask me some questions if you need to. Again, we're going to be talking about wisdom to heal you from dangerous stress. So let's get on into it tonight. So let's talk about stress. We're talking about stress because it's a silent killer, believe it or not. It's a silent, serious problem that we all have. And if we keep going through these episodes of stress, it can hinder you in so many ways. And so we're going to talk about some of those ways. Stress can be, it can creep into our homes. It can creep into our relationships. It can creep into our jobs and our relationships, and even our ministries, or even you may be an entrepreneur, even on your job, or even in the business that you have. Stress can creep up into so many different ways. Even it can slip up, or it can creep up on you when you're dealing with your children or your marriage. I mean, because you're holding stuff in and you don't want to say what you really want to say. And then sometimes you do say what you really want to say. And sometimes that gets worse. Okay. It is not just an emotional burden that a lot of people think it is. They think, it's especially with women, they think we're just very emotional. When they say we flying off the handle, so to speak, as I call it. And we're talking about that we're upset about something, and we're letting people know how we feel. Sometimes they look at it as being an emotion. It's emotions, it's just our emotions. So stress is not just emotions. It's a spiritual, physical, dangerous spirit that you can have that can really cause a lot of damage in your heart and your soul. It can steal your peace. It can steal your health. It can steal your joy, and it can also give you a cloudy judgment when you're judging other people, and you just sort of kind of clouded because your head is just spinning, and then you just overwhelmed. It's just too much. So sometimes you just want to shut stuff down. But here's the good news about stress. God never intended for his people to live bound by anxiety or pressure. Let me say that again. God never intended for his people to be heavy and live in bondage and anxiety and pressure. In Matthew chapter 11, verse 26, Jesus said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So when you feel that overwhelmed, because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, I always run to the Lord. I get a scripture, or I pray, or I ask God to calm me down, or I do those breathing techniques that I often share with you guys. Those things really work. When I first started out doing that, I thought people was crazy. I said, what is blowing in my nose and breathing out my mouth going to help me do? I really thought it was a Hicks. But I found out after I started doing it that it really, really works. So let's talk about stress. Really, it is just all kind of causes that can come from it. So we're going to deep dive into it and find out what are some of the things that can cause some of these things. It can cause the effects on our body, it can cause the effects on our mind, and also it can cause the effects of our peace and our joy. And it also can kill relationships. So, walking is good. Sometimes when you get stressed out like that, just go walking, because sometimes that would help the blood flow in your brain and the blood flow in your legs. Just go out and start walking instead of getting upset and mad and throwing stuff or whatever you might do when you're upset and you stressed out. You can just do little small things like that. So let's try to understand stress. What is stress? It's a natural response to pressure and perceived danger, something that you may see that scared you. And then your blood pressure could go up, or your stress level is going to go up, or even physically. It can also, stress can cause things happen in your body physically, and of course also mentally and psychologically and spiritually. So it's so many things that can happen, and it's natural. It's a natural response. So don't think that you're crazy because you're flying off the handle and you're feeling kind of woozy and you don't understand why you're dizzy, you're tired. But this stuff is real, and we got to learn how to come and calm ourselves down and try to understand why you're going through what you're going through, and then go back to that place. And if you need to forgive somebody or you need to get a break, just do those things so you won't hold it in and cause all kind of chronic stuff that can happen in your body. But short bursts of happiness can turn that around, and it can motivate you. What do I mean by that? Laugh. Look at something funny, on TV or on the Instagram or whatever you're looking at, and laugh, and just get motivated with happiness and joy. And that can stop some of the stuff that's going on in your body when you're feeling really heavy. So, because when we don't do that type of things, then it can become chronic. Chronic stress can destroy our health. Yes, let me say that again. Chronic stress. So you may not have chronic stress, but some of us do. So when you get like that, it destroys your health. It can destroy your peace, and it causes all kind of problems in your body. You will be surprised. There's so many things that can cause stress. I don't have enough time on tonight to just share you with all of those things. Just a little bit we're going to get into. And also, stress can cause unresolved trauma or emotional pain. The kind of trauma that you held in since you was a little girl, or you held in because a teacher said something to you that offended you, or one of your best friends, or you had an accident, or you was in the hospital, or you had a dreaded disease, and then that kind of traumatized you, and you had to go through that pain. You had to go through that emotional pain that was going on in your body as well as your mind or your spirit. And so sometimes we hold those things in. So when somebody do something to us, it can trigger what happened to us during that time, or what happened to us during that time we argued, or the time that I had that trauma. And then we just fly off the handle and we just get all weary. Also, one of the greatest reasons a lot of people get stressed about is finances, struggling with finances. And the second one is relationship conflict. And a lot of times that happens in a lot of marriages, or if you got a relationship with somebody, or even best friends or family members. It can cause you to get stressed out because you want to be the good person. You don't want to bless nobody out or call somebody on the phone and say them ugly words to them. So you just hold it in. And even though you go pray and you ask God to forgive you, it's still there. So you got to find out a way to get rid of that stress. Even though you're praying and you're doing all the things you do, you got to be the one in charge. Somebody don't like this kind of teaching. Yeah, you got to be the one again to stop right there and say, okay, I'm going to be in charge of my body and my mindset. I'm going to be in charge of my energy, whether I want a calm energy or a bad energy. Do I want that energy to be bad, something that I'm going to be mad about and frustrated and want to just call people and do all kind of stuff or talk about somebody because of what they did to you? choose the best for you, not for them. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one to suffer for some of those things that you have held in for years and even days or months. And you wonder why your blood pressure high. You wonder why your diabetes is high. You wonder why your legs is aching. You wonder why your head is aching and your shoulder is aching. You get out the car, your knees is popping and all of that kind of stuff. We think we're going, getting sick or something, but it could be something as simple as stress. And if you knew how to handle it, then sometimes some of these elements would go away. Another one is to be overcommitted. Oh, I need to just stop right there. To be overcommitted basically means you always doing something for somebody else, constantly, always doing something for somebody else. And you never know how to say no. You never know how to say no. And another one is a lack of boundaries. Some people you just don't need to be around. You may like them, then you may be good friends with them. But as the days and the years went by, that person done changed and you still messing around with the same people that brought you down in the very beginning. And you try to get over and you say, well, I forgave them. I got over that. That's my friend. I don't want to just cut her off. But that may be a person that you don't need to be hanging around, because when you hang around her, you get a headache. When you hang around her, you get upset because she say something about your dress or your hair or your personal life, and they're digging it up. You need to get away from people that will pull you down and give you stress. So check that out, all right? The next one is fear of failure. You want to be the best. Everybody want to be the best. The fear of failure. Another one is trying to compare yourself to other people. And so that can stress you out because you want to have that job, but you don't think you're going to be able to handle it. Or you want to start that business, but you feel like you're not good enough, or you don't have the money to do it, or you don't think you're going to be successful. So you're afraid to step out and do what God's called you to do, because we all got gifts and talents. I say this on this broadcast all the time because we do. If you knew the pearls that God got for you, if you just step out and do what he's called you to do, you'll be surprised. Things that you thought you could not do, you did them greater than you thought you could ever do, because you stepped out. And God did not give us a spirit of fear. He gave us the power to love and a sound mind. So we shouldn't even be letting the devil even get into our head with that foolishness, because he wants us to have fear, because when we have fear, we won't move forward. The next one is also we can get stressed when we have a lack of rest and a lack of prayer time. A lack of rest or prayer time. A few months ago, I'm gonna just do a short story. It's not gonna be long. I went to the store, the restaurant, to get some food for me and my husband, and I was rushing because I had to do something else. And I think it was I had to get back on wisdom tips before the broadcast, and so I was rushing through traffic and this, that, and the other. And I finally got into the restaurant. The lady said, "Well, it's gonna take about 15 minutes for you get your order." So I said, "Okay, no problem, no problem." And I said, "About what time?" I looked at it and she told me, and I said, "Okay, then I'll be in about 15 minutes. And do you know that young lady came out of the restaurant beating on my door, and I was sound to sleep. Yes, ma'am. She said, "Are you okay?" She said, "It's been 30 minutes and I didn't hear anything. So I just came out and thought maybe if I could find your car, I could give you your food." And I said, "Thank you so much." And when she left, my heart was just pounding, because there's so many things I started thinking about. Somebody could have grabbed me, jerked the car door open. Anything could have happened. It was about that. It was getting dark about that time. And here I'm sitting there, or I could have had a heart attack, stroke, or whatever. God only knows that, because I had been running myself half to death for the last 3 or 4 months during that time. And I was just rushing, doing all kind of stuff. And I just sit there in the car and I said, "Lord, so it's come to this." Lord said, "I'm trying to tell you something. You need to get some rest." So needless to say, I got some rest. That next week, I just told everybody I shut everything down. I even shut down the wisdom tips that I'm doing tonight, because it was better for me to shut it down and get some rest so I wouldn't have a heart attack or a stroke or get sick in my body because I'm rushing trying to do too many things. So this stuff is real. We gotta think about it. And also it's dangerous. Stress is dangerous. Hypertension comes from that. Heart disease, insomnia, not sleeping well, weakness. It can weaken your immune system. Yeah, it can weaken your immune system, and you be wondering, you feeling like you're sick, but because you got so much stress, your body can't heal. Then you have emotional burnout, depression, anxiety, irritability, spiritual numbness. Ooh, we need to stop right there because I got some people on the platform right now that are Christians. Have you ever been spiritually numb where you go to church and you don't feel a thing? And it's not because the message is not good or the preacher's not good. It's not that the choir didn't sing good and great, but you so stressed out to when you finally get to church after you know finally dressed to the kids or the husband and yourself, and you rushed in all of that traffic and you got there late, but you was there anyway. All of a sudden you just numb. You can't even get into the service because you're so tired and you're so overwhelmed. You've lost your joy. You've lost your gratitude. You lost your connections with God. When we get so busy that we don't even have time for God, oh my God, we got to slow down. Because if you can't spend time with God, he can't spend no time with you. So don't go crying to him when something happens. Say, God, help me. And God going to say, where were you? I'm trying to help somebody right now. Let's look at some signs of stress. Signs of stress, one of them is being fatigued. Being fatigued. Not getting enough sleep. I think we just talked about that. Constant headaches, aches and pains in your stomach, muscles just all up in here, all in your legs. So that can cause you to get stressed out, being tensed because you're just so mad, you're so angry, got so much going on, so much in your head you got to do, you just tensed up. Also, having a quick temper. Yeah, when I was stressed out like that and that lady came and found me in the car, I think I had just was hollering and screaming at one of the children or somebody because I was so tired from hollering and screaming. I went to sleep, I guess. But that was one of the triggers. Okay? Or crying easy, overeating, loss of appetite. All of this comes from stress. Isn't that something? I hope y'all taking some notes. Also withdrawing from people at church or withdrawing from people on your job, withdrawing from people in your family because you just stressed out. You don't want to see nobody. If somebody say one thing to you, you just gonna lose it. Next one is difficulty concentrating or praying, having difficulties in both areas. Can't remember. You just feel like you just swim ahead. Can't remember stuff. It's like if my brain can just say, do one more thing, I don't know where I'm going to be. Have you ever felt like that? Because everybody coming at you one at a time. If it ain't the children's phone, if it ain't phone, it's this, it's that. It's something that you got to do all the time. So that can cause stress. So what we need to do right now, let's just pause right now and check yourself and ask yourself if you're showing these signs. Awareness is the first step toward healing. So stop for a moment and write that down. Do you have some of these symptoms that I talked about? When I went through here and I studied this, I went, oh my God, withdraw from people and church and family members and family this and friend this, quick tempered headaches, stomach pain. How do you feel? Are you aware of any of these things? If you're not aware of them, then you don't have stress. But if you are aware of some of those things, it's time for you to stop, take a deep breath, breathe, get you some rest, go on vacation, take a trip, do something to make you happy, because it's going to stop affecting your body and your mental well-being. So, dear hearts, we're going to go to a commercial. And when we come back, we're going to have 7 things you can do to help you with your stress life. If anybody in the comments want to share or say anything at this time, we're going to do that when we come back. All right. I'll see you when we get back from commercial. God bless you.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
What if I told you you will be okay? That there's nothing in your past that can't be forgiven. Nothing you've done, no matter how hurtful or shameful, can stop the power of God's grace. No matter the road you've walked, the places you've been, or the things you've seen. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and righteous to forgive us and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So today, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what burdens are weighing you down, know this: you will be okay.
Karen Johnson, thank you for joining us today. And then if anyone else is in the comments that I don't see, welcome to Wisdom Tips. At this time, we're going to do the wisdom tips. So I hope you enjoyed the episode on tonight. But please write some of those things down. If you didn't write them down, go back and read them again on the broadcast. Go back and watch the broadcast and write it down, because this is very important. Should be very important to you, so you can take care of yourself, take care of your family. Don't have to worry about all these health issues that you're feeling in your body or your spirit or your soul, and just get back on course and take care of you so you can help others. All right. Tip number 1, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge, in other words, that you got this problem with stress. Acknowledge it. Admit you are overwhelmed. And honestly, that you just basically need to just stop right there and invite Jesus into your life. Invite Jesus to heal you. Cry out to him, because at the end of the day, you can take all kinds of pills to numb yourself, but you're going to have to go back again and start all over again, because they don't last for a very long time. It's just temporarily. They help you, they numb you for a while, but they're not going to heal you 24/7 for the rest of your life. You got to learn how to do this type of stuff to take care of yourself. Go to God, pray, and then start eating right and doing the things you need to do, exercise, all the things that I often talk about that we need to do to take care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of nobody else, right? Tip number 2, pray and release it. Pray and release it. It could be somebody that has offended you that you're upset about. I would want you to do just pray, let it go, forgive, and move forward. Philippians chapter 4 tells us, verse 6 and 7, give it to God in prayer and thanksgiving. Go back and read Philippians chapter 4 and get a little bit more information, and you'll understand what that's all about. Okay. Tip number 3, rest and refill. Rest and refill. In other words, Rest, enjoy yourself, and do some things that you love to do. And give yourself time to refill and rest. And then get back up and do what you're supposed to do. In other words, take intentional breaks. You may be on your job, you may be in the home, and maybe you had to wash dishes or you got to cook. But if you're overwhelmed, just stop, take a few minutes, and take a break periodically. It could be 2 or 3 breaks or whatever, how many breaks you need. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, just do it. And rest. Rest is a weapon, not a weakness. A lot of us think we got to continue to go on and on and on and do and do and do. And some of us don't even like to go on vacation. That's type of people like I am, that's constantly doing something and helping people all the time and always doing something to make other people's lives better. I never stop to think about my own self sometime. And I think that's what caused a lot of my sicknesses and illnesses and stuff that I went through the years, because I never would slow down. But I'm telling you, when that girl came to my car that day, and I was sound asleep for 30 minutes, that woke me up. And that's why I'm talking to you guys. So you can get yourself together and rest, refill, take breaks, and remember this and remember real good. Resting is not a weapon or a weakness. Tip number 4, realign your priorities. Take some things out of your life and realign your priorities. What is your priority? Write it down. Put it in a journal. Talk to yourself. Talk to God about what you need to do. Focus on what truly matters. Focus on what truly matters. And don't feel guilty about doing it. Without guilt. Sometimes, dear heart, you're just going to tell people I can't do it. No, I'm not doing that. Because you have already done too much and you're overloaded. So it's time for you to rest. Tip number 5. Take care of your spirit and body. Didn't I just say that? Well, I want to say it again to what they call it. I want to say it again so you'll get in your mind and you won't forget when I tell you that over and over again. I'm going to say it again. Take care of your spirit and your body. Okay? Daily. Through the word of God, through worship, through just taking care of yourself, being healthy with healthy meals, and drink your water. Dehydration is real. When you don't drink water, it can cause illnesses too. I'm backing it up with stress, it'll be even worse. So stay hydrated and move. Don't just sit around at that desk all day. You may have a job where you sit around all day long. Find yourself getting up and, tell yourself when you're going to get up so many minutes or so many whatever the times are that you need to continue to do your work, but get up and walk around. Because when we sit a long time, the blood flow is not flowing in your body and not even flowing in your heart. So we need blood to live, right? So we got to keep walking, going back and forth, whatever we need to do, take a little break and then sit back down. Tip number 3, connect and support. You need connect and support. Don't just don't isolate yourself and say, I just don't want nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to tell nobody what I'm going through. So I'm just going to isolate myself. I ain't going to church. I don't want to go to, I don't want to go on my job. I'm just going to call them and tell them I'm sick and all this kind of stuff. No, stop. Get some help. You can go to somebody that you trust, a trusted friend. You can go to a counselor. You can go to a coach that you know. You can go to a prayer partner. It's so many things that you can do that people would love to help you if you would just open up the door and let them do it. Right? All right. Now, the last one is tip number 7. I want you to have a practical gratitude strategy that you do often. Appreciate what people do for you. Appreciate what God has done for you. Appreciate what your husband or your wife is doing for you, or your children. Sometimes we're so close to those that we love, we don't even stop to thank them for the things that they do. You go to church, you might not even thank the pastor for the sermon that he preached, or a friend that was at the church and they got healed, or you got healed, or they got healed. It doesn't matter which one, but you didn't go and you didn't reproach that person. You just didn't even think about even talking to them. So try doing that. Okay. and count your blessings, your gratitude, and your mindset. Bless the name of the Lord because you woke up this morning and you started on your way. And this will reduce your hormones and stress if you do some of these powerful things that I talked about tonight. Well, dear heart, that is it for Wisdom Tips on today. Please join me again next week, same time, same station, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time by CTR Media, which is our sponsor. We give them a shout out for being grateful to the Wisdom Tips show and being here every wisdom tip that I click the button and come on. And to all of you that are coming and joining me on Wisdom Tips, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. And remember, we ain't got no time for tears or fears, because wisdom is the principal thing. And all that get an understanding so you can live a victorious life. Love you guys. I see you next week.